Stamp it on the microchip canvas to the right of the start line trigger zone. Leave a bit of space, as we'll also need to add a counter. This will turn the signal from the trigger zone into a constant signal, so it stays on even after Connie has left the trigger zone's detection area. The counter also lives in the Logic and Processing menu. Select it with X and stamp one between the start line and the timer. If you've played our wiring and logic tutorial, you might already know how to connect up the timer and the counter. But here's a reminder in case you've forgotten.
Yeah, I need a reminder.
Start by creating a wire from the start line trigger zone's detected port. Connect it to the increase count input of the counter. When Connie crosses the start line, the counter will increase and the counter full port will send a constant signal. The counter full output then connects to the start timer input. This simple bit of logic ensures that the timer will keep on ticking until we tell it to stop. In the next step, we'll tweak the timer. Let's take a look at the timer's tweak menu. Open it up with L1 and square. The timer requires a target time, but we don't want a time limit to complete the scene, so set the target time high enough that the player won't ever reach it. As the platforms disappear after a few seconds, it's impossible for Connie to survive forever. So 120 seconds should be enough time to complete the course. Below the sliders is the timer type. Right now it's set to count up. With this setting selected, the timer will keep counting until it reaches the target time, or until it's turned off. That's no good for recording a fastest time, so change the timer type to the speed setting. Its icon is a curved line. With the speed setting selected, the timer will only count while it's receiving an input signal. This makes it work like a stopwatch, and will allow us to record a finish time with it. The timer is all set. Phew, almost there. Who thought logic could be so demanding?
Oh, I know.
Now we just need to record the time as a score.
One of the most logical people on this fucking planet.
We'll do that in the next step.
It is very demanding.
To record the finish time, we need another score modifier. Go to the assembly menu, select Gadgets, then Gameplay Gear. Grab a score modifier and stamp one to the right of the timer. Press circle to unequip the gadget, then open the score modifier tweak menu with L1 and square. In the score name box, select the score you created to record time. Hover over the box and use the up and down directional buttons to scroll through the different scores in the scene. There should only be 2 to choose from. To record the time with the score modifier, we need the timer's tweak menu, so open it up if it isn't already. In the tweak menu, create a wire from the output of the current time slider. Extend the wire over to the score modifier tweak menu, then connect it to the input of the operation value. Now the operation value will be set by the current time of the timer.
So fucking glad I don't get to see these
This time the operation
wires
type can be
after.
left as set, as we don't need to add the current time to anything. But the update type should be changed to continuously while powered. This means the score modifier will continuously update the score with the current time.
Cool.
Let's test it quickly in play mode. Remember we hooked up a text displayer to the time score. So now that the time score is being modified, we can see it on screen. The only problem is that the time doesn't stop when Connie crosses the finish. So we'll fix that in the final step.
Can't believe we're still not done.
The last thing to do is to stop the timer when Connie crosses the finish line. Create a wire from the finish line trigger zone's detected port. Connect it to the reset count input port of the counter gadget. Resetting the counter will stop the signal to the timer. As we set the timer type to the speed
I'm not even
setting,
doing anything.
the
Hold
reset...
up. I was spacing out.
Create a wire from the finish line trigger zone's detected port. Connect it to the reset count input port of the counter gadget. Resetting the counter will stop the signal to the timer. As we set the timer type to the speed setting, stopping the signal will cause the timer to stop counting. I think we're ready to play it. Switch over to play mode and have a go. If the timer doesn't stop when you cross the line, you probably need to set the timer type to speed. If you think it's a bit too easy, you could animate the platforms with action recorders to make it trickier. Or you could make some bubbles that are harder to collect, then set the score modifiers on those bubbles to award more points.
We got score.
Have a few goes and see how fast you can collect all the prize bubbles. To finish the tutorial, just select Exit Creation in the Options menu.
Oh, I want another go at my awesome creation. I did all this. Other than the platforms. Yeah, 23.8 with 19 prizes. Look at those numbers were so hard to put up and do. But I did it. Oh, I feel for game creators. And I'm sure this is the easy way.